Good afternoon, Will.
Hey, Vince, how are you?
I'm very good. Yourself?
I'm doing well. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Listen, Will, it's great to have somebody who's working in law enforcement in the U.S. To give me a little bit of time. So thanks again for taking some time this afternoon to talk to me.
No problem, Vince. Thanks for doing what you're doing, putting the word out, and podcasts are very helpful and very informative. I appreciate that.
Okay. Listen, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give people a brief introduction of who you are and how we met, and then we'll go right into what it's like to be in law enforcement in the U.S. in this difficult period. So listen, you've been in law enforcement now for close to 15 years. Prior to that, you spent some time in the military, and you and I met when you were transforming my wife into a lethal weapon while we were both in China. So something that people probably don't know about you is that you're a black belt, fourth degree Kempo karate master, and you were teaching both of us some of that when we were in China many years ago. So listen, thanks again, and it's great to have you. Obviously, what I'm interested in, I think a lot of leaders and other people are going to be interested, it's what is it like for a policeman in the United States at this period of time? How is the situation? How are you living through it? And if you could just talk to us a little bit about that, it'd be very helpful.
It's very interesting that you asked that question as far as the law enforcement aspect is concerned, due to the fact that, one, you have a number of different venues that you have to look at. First of all, providing public safety. Secondly, enforcing the law. Due to the fact that we have what they call the lockdown, where a number of people are isolated in their houses and homes and etc., as opposed to the ones that are considered a necessity. The thing that I find the most interesting is the pattern of events that evolve. Dealing with arrestees, inmates, criminals, whatever the case may be. I've had it work from two aspects. One, I would have an individual, and naturally, because of the COVID screening, naturally, we have to have the emergency medical services screen them on site.
Right.
Naturally, we approach them with protective gear, face masks, gloves, sometimes protective wear, and deal with them accordingly. A number of offendants that we're dealing with now are minor infractions, things like traffic infraction, or some type of misdemeanor transaction that takes place, in which case we can cite them into court. And court is actually still taking place here in the United States via telephone, via video conference, et cetera, et cetera. So that's quite a change for me. Now realize that video conferences have always taken place, but that was with inmates inside of the jails with the judges. So it's a little bit different for us from that aspect.
So if I may, Will, what you're saying is, are you saying that even for like minor arrests, you have to call in the medical team and you have to put all the protective gear?
Exactly. Well, we're in protective gear anyway. Right now, I have all my gear here. As soon as I get a call or I make a interaction with an individual, mask up, glove up, and go straight to doing what I need to do.
Right. So that is quite a change. Are you finding that in terms of people's cooperation, are you finding that people are more willing to cooperate with you guys, less willing to cooperate? I know you do a lot of work around, essential services and stuff like that. How has that been?
Yes, with a resounding no. And I'll explain. When I'm dealing with the, I'll say, other element, there's always going to be some type of buffer of non-compliance when
Right.
I'm dealing with that other element. Dealing with the public, the overwhelming cooperation with the public has been phenomenal.
Okay.
Due to the fact that they want to remain safe, they want me to remain safe, and so it's quite interesting and very appreciative as far as the law enforcement aspect is concerned, dealing with the regular public.
So, if you had the opportunity to give advice to people that are in business, to business leaders, in terms of things that they're doing or not doing that would be helpful to particularly to people in law enforcement, what would that advice be?
At this current time during this pandemic, the one thing, well, I can tell you one thing that's happening in one of the retail stores here. Normally, some of the stores, before the pandemic, they would stay open 24 hours a day, restock, whatever the case. And at that time, I was working night, so I could go in, get whatever I needed, come out.
Yeah.
But now that they're closed overnight, some of the stores here, what they do is they will close, and what they'll allow law enforcement officers to do is to be able to come in during the time of closing and be able to shop. And I got to tell you, Vince, that's a real big help, especially working 10, 12, 14-hour shifts.
Yeah.
And getting off or coming on to work and not having to worry about, if you have time to get in to do shopping or whatever the case may be. And, not that one small thing helps take a load off your mind, especially when you're dealing with the element that I deal with on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So that's very helpful.
Right.
There are some stores that even provide particular parking areas for law enforcement, for emergency medical services, just for shopping. Granted, if there's an emergency, we park in the fire exits where we have quick access to get into the store, gain the store, et cetera, et cetera. But that may be small to them, but it's very huge to us, and we definitely appreciate that.
So that's literally, just so I get that clear, it's a dedicated place for non-emergencies for you guys to be able to park and access, stores and stuff.
That's correct. It's right up front. I mean, just like what they have, the expecting mothers or handicap parking.
Yeah.
They provide a couple of spaces in those areas for law enforcement and emergency medical services. It's greatly appreciated.
Great. Is there anything else, Will, when you think about this whole situation, and you've talked about obviously quite a dramatic change in procedures in terms of how you go about doing things, is there anything else that sort of worries you as you, and you've worked in penitentiaries before, now you're obviously on the streets, but anything else that, as you look at the whole situation, you'd say, this concerns me and I don't think it's being addressed?
That's a good question. And you actually hit the nail right on the head when it comes to dealing with, like you said, the penitentiaries and things. Because of this pandemic, a lot of individuals, small time offenders, misdemeanor offenders, are coming back out on the streets due to the fact that they're trying to release as many people as possible. And it's just revolving door. They come in, they go in, they come right back out. That worries me due to the fact that, one, if the screening is as it is for us, as a law enforcement officer, I've been tested twice already in about 2-3 weeks. And I appreciate the fact that that's happening, but I don't think that's happening for inmates, criminals, et cetera, et cetera. And that worries me due to the fact that they're going through that revolving door. If they're going in and coming right back out, they could be spreading just as quick as they're going in and contracting. And that's what worries me.
Yeah.
That's what worries me.
And I'm sure, obviously that's probably on somebody's radar screen, but it seems like it hasn't been fully addressed yet.
Nah, it has not been fully addressed yet. I completely agree with you.
Great. Listen, thank you very much for your time. Again, I appreciate it. It's great to see you.
Always great to see you, bro.
And listen, good luck, stay safe. And you know, finally, thanks for the work you're doing.
Sure.
Take care.
You too, Vince.